We'll call our public hearing to order at this time. We have 4 items on our public hearing tonight. Item number 1 is a public hearing for ordinance number 2024-05. Mr. Stokes.
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 2024-05 be it ordained by the mayor and council for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, a zoning amendment ordinance for tax parcel number 003F008, 11 Quartermaster Circle, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia 30742, requested by the owner Joy Carpet and Company Incorporated, so as to amend the zoning of said property from a I-2 zoning to a C-1 zoning, to amend the official zoning map for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, to repeal conflicting ordinances or other related purposes. Is there anyone here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this zoning change? Mayor, it doesn't appear anyone's present to speak on the public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Item number 2 is a public hearing for ordinance number 2024-06. Mr. Stokes.
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 2024-06, be it ordained by the mayor and council for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, a zoning amendment ordinance for tax parcel number 00030C010, 1337 Battlefield Parkway, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia 30742, requested by the applicant Christina Pinkston for Lift Youth Center Incorporated, so as to amend the zoning of said property from an R1 zoning to a C2 zoning, to amend the official zoning map for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, to repeal conflicting ordinances and other related purposes. Is there anyone here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this ordinance change?
I would too, sir.
Yes, ma'am. If you would go to the podium and state your full name.
I'm Christina Pinkston, Executive
Thank you,
Director at Lift Youth Center.
Thank you.
Do I start? Okay. So I'm thankful tonight to get a chance to follow up the unanimous vote for zoning approval on the property that we're looking at purchasing. Our 501c3 nonprofit has been president in Catoosa County for about 5.5 years. You can see on the cover of your folder, I wanted to give you a bunch of information about us, that our mission is to create opportunities for students to be loved as they are, inspired to be more, found in community, and trusted to make a difference. Chris, will you give him mine? Would you like one?
No, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. All
We're
right.
okay.
I did bring an extra just in case. We accomplish that primarily by providing a free after-school youth center for 6th through 12th grade students. We're very proud of how much impact we've already had at our Ringgold facility. On the first page on that document on the left side of your binder, you'll see stats to just kind of help you see the picture of growth over our first 2.5 years in operation. Page 2 also gives you a listing of our leadership. So our board of directors is there, our ambassadors, and then our new Fort Oglethorpe Expansion Committee, who will be helping guide our work in Fort Oglethorpe. And on the right side of the folder, you'll see letters of support from many who have already worked with us, just expressing their desire for our footprint to expand into Fort Oglethorpe, which is why we're here. So we want to serve the whole county. That was our goal from the beginning. But to do that well, we need to have more space and to get rid of barriers that have to do with transportation and distance. So you can see on page 3 of that same document that in Ringgold our services are widely attended, but we've not been able to reach the west side of the county. So that's on page 3. There's just data there from each of the schools. Without transportation, heritage schools also are only moderately engaged at this point. But if we see a response in Fort O like we have seen in Ringgold, then especially when we add transportation, which is a part of our plan, then we would hope to engage at least another 400 kids in that after-school program. Students who otherwise would be doing nothing, isolated, unengaged, or worse, find something less healthy to entertain themselves. And the reality is we don't need to serve every student with our youth center. Many students already have after-school program. They might be on the football team or play in the band. Some are going back home to a healthy home environment, and that's actually what's best for that kid. Some have after-school jobs. Up to 35 LMS students are at Link at the Y after school every day, which is amazing. On Wednesdays, some LFO students are at CIS's Student Success Center, which is also amazing. But for those who do not have these things, students. That's where we want to jump in and kind of fill the remaining gap, because they need healthy alternatives as well. The quote from Mr. Vince Phillips, that is also there on page 3, former LMS principal and of course now serving as CCPS Director of Student Services, and there's a quote from the Family Collaborative. Both of those really testify to the need in Fort Oglethorpe. LIFT is able to help meet that need by creating spaces where kids can build long-term relationships with trusted adults, offer learning opportunities and positive peer experiences. Students get to have fun, absolutely, but they're also safe, and it's a positive place to connect and channel their many energies and interests. Starting on page 4, just to give you a better idea about what we do at the center, there's information about our workshops, followed by our strategies that we use. We're meeting evidence-based goals, reaching outcomes that make a difference for our students, both now and we hope have a big future impact on our whole community. We showed you on page 12, so if you skip past all that, the fun pages with all the activities. On page 12 there you'll see some survey data. The first part of that is from kids who are actively involved right now. And then below that on that same page there's data from an interest survey that we did this last fall. We really wanted to make sure that the community we were going to serve thought that was a good idea. And you'll see there 76% said they believe Catoosa County students are in need of youth centers where additional support services are offered. And that's exactly what we hope to do on the property. On page 13, we went ahead and put a map. Of course, you know where that parcel is, but it just gives you a better idea about how close we are to LFO. Walkable for sure, and then we'll have transportation, of course, to help our LMS students, but there's also many large neighborhoods around that property, so the ease of access we think will really be good. Since the beginning of this being an idea, people have been asking us to come to Fort O. Not just parents, but kids and community leaders saying how they see the need in their own backyard and how great it would be to have us there. And we've always said, we hope so. One day. And we really hope that day is upon us. We're following a call, a group of parents, really, that God gave us in 2018 to love kids and help them the way we think Jesus would do it. Our leadership has grown as our impact has, and we think this building is the next step. Now, LIFT is non-religiously affiliated, which we believe is very important in today's culture, but the heart of our work is apparent to anybody who experiences it. And it drives us to keep working so hard to not be slowed down by obstacles, but to keep moving forward to try to help as many kids as we can. As I close, I'll point you to the last page, on page 14. I've listed out just some outcomes to consider as you decide whether to approve the zoning request or not. And as you look to our future, we hope. And a lot of those outcomes don't have anything to do with after-school programming. LIFT would be thrilled to benefit the Fort O community on the whole in a myriad of ways, in the same way we've been able to do in Ringgold. We really see our role as that of a bridge builder, connecting students and families that we serve to the other amazing agencies and nonprofits that already exist. We see ourselves as collaborators at our core, and we can't wait to see what things we could come up with that will be new to Fort Oglethorpe as we do those partnerships. We really see LIFT as a part of a net that our community has been building for a long time. An amazing county and both cities, amazing. That net is to catch kids who might be falling through the cracks. A second facility would just strengthen the net. It would make it bigger, and it would increase its effectiveness. And isn't that what we all want? Is to help those kids who are our future. More groups serving students means more students are being served. And those students are worth all of our expansion efforts, right? And so that's why we're here and why we're excited about it's not going to be an easy thing to do. It's going to cost a whole lot of money. It's going to be a lot of things, but we think it's worth it. So please vote to approve the Zoning Commission's recommendation to rezone 1337 Battlefield Parkway. And if you want to know more about any of our plans, I'd love to tell you about them. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of or in opposition of this zoning change? Yes, sir. Go right on up. If you would, state your full name.
I am Pastor Randy Lynn of Moriah Baptist Church in Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. The property which is rezoning is our property that we have owned since 1997. We moved out of that piece of property back in 2006 to a new location here in Fort Oglethorpe of 2864 Battlefield Parkway. And until this time, we have been leasing the property out to other affiliated churches And it has served well in our community in that respect, and we thank the Lord for that. But just a few months ago, there was an open door of opportunity. The Lord, we believe, opened up a door to be able, through a acquaintance of both Lift and Moriah Baptist Church, to be able to join together and be able to come and maybe see what the Lord would open up further even in this venture which we're in. And so in meeting with the director, Ms. Tina Pinkston, we had the joy of being introduced to Lift Ministry, and we looked at Lift Ministry. We looked at the materials. We went down and went through a walkthrough of their location, and were deeply impressed. One of the things that we have focused on our years of ministry has been children's ministry. And this is at the core of children's ministry that they are involved in and what they are doing. And even though there is a non-religious affiliation with Lift, I do believe strongly that they will have a major spiritual impact on these children's lives. And not only that, but also the fact, I think socially it will open up doors. Sin hardens the heart. And when these children get out into the world and they get hardened by sin, they're harder to reach. They're more difficult to get the gospel to. And with ministries like this, they help prepare the way that we're able to easier reach those children and to bring them in that they may have a right relationship with the Lord. And we feel that God has opened this door up. When I presented it to my church and explained to them who it would be purchasing the property, they were elated, they were excited, and it was 100% vote. That they had confidence that even though we were taking a less and a reduced amount of money for the property, that it would go forth to benefit not only the city of Fort Oglethorpe, but every family that's in this city, as well as our Catoosa County. And it would benefit Lift, and it, yes, will benefit Moriah Baptist Church. And we're so thankful for that wonderful opportunity God has opened up to us.
Thank you,
sir.
Pastor. Very good.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of or in opposition of this zoning change?
I would like to speak.
If you would, state your name when you come to the podium.
My name is Heather Shute. This is my daughter Elizabeth. I am a parent in the area, new to this area, just moved to the Oglethorpe area in the end of August. We came to know about Lift through Tina, who helps run the Scout program. My daughter and my son both very involved in Scouts, and we were very excited to hear about and learn about the Lift program. I'm just very excited at the potential for Lift to move here because we are toward the Fort Oglethorpe side. So for my daughter who is at LMS, for her to be able to participate in those activities, and hopefully even my son who's at LFO, it would be an amazing opportunity. They do come home after school typically with me, but I would love for them to meet more people in the area, to become more engaged, to help community grow, to be in service, and to learn all the values that we have, that I'm sure this whole community has, to just learn and grow in faith and in service, and just be a part of the community. I'm real excited. I'm excited to be here. I love it here so far, and we're real happy at the potential.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this zoning change? Yes, ma'am. If you would state your name when you go to the podium.
I'm Melody Nichols.
I'm sorry.
Melody Nichols.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I would like to take this opportunity, a moment of your time, to voice my support for the expansion of the Lift Youth Center into the city of Fort Oglethorpe. I'm a recently retired educator of 30 years with Catoosa County Public Schools. 15 of those were spent at Lakeview Middle School. I see Lift as an important stakeholder in our county. Our schools can be overwhelmed with all the needs of our students, and Lift can be instrumental in filling in those gaps. They offer so many programs, which you'll see in your packet, such as tutoring, homework time, seminars on suicide prevention, cooking classes, art, music, and so many more things. In the summer, when many students are unsupervised while parents work, they take their participants hiking, rafting, and have even taken part in community projects. But also, as an educator, I appreciate the rigorous procedure that LIFT has in place for keeping track of those participants. Supervision and safety are at the forefront of their planning. Students do not roam in and out, but are checked in and highly supervised. Students have a fun yet safe place to stay after a long school day. I've seen firsthand the benefit LIFT Youth Center has had on our side of the county, and I know that Fort Oglethorpe will benefit from LIFT as well. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this zoning change? Yes, ma'am. If you would, state your name when you get to the podium.
Hello there, my name is Lynn Fant, and I was born in Fort Oglethorpe. I grew up in Fort Oglethorpe, and I've been a member of this community my whole life. I'm also been in Kiwanis about 30 plus years, and as a Kiwanian, we support children. We support elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, and colleges with different programs that the Kiwanis support. And our motto is to change the world one community and one child at a time. So when I met Tina through the leadership program, I just felt like those theories went together. And as a nurse, I was just excited to see how the healthy, fun opportunities that LIFT gives children in a warm, safe environment that supports their mind, body, and spirit. So that's my nurse part of me. But as a craft person, I took my 88-year-old mother down, and we were able to experience LIFT by doing crafts with students. And I can tell you that was so enriching to see the LIFT program at work. And we learned a lot. We learned a whole lot, and we think they did too, and we had a great experience. And I would like to continue supporting LIFT in Ringo, and I look forward to supporting LIFT in Fort Oglethorpe. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of or in opposition of this zoning change? Yes, sir. If you would, go up, state your name when you get to the podium.
Hello, my name is Gio Mejia. I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones. I volunteer as a mentor at LFO, and like Lynn, I like her different career aspects. I'll share a little bit about my prior career. I've been in the financial industry for 10 years, but prior to that I was a law enforcement officer in Texas for 7 years. And why I serve and volunteer with different community groups involving children is I truly believe deep down in my core that one of the best ways to prevent crime is to have a positive impact on children. I believe that as an adult, yes, we have great programs to rehabilitate, but if we can reach them as children and have a positive impact, I think that's a number one way. Instead of criminal justice reform, which, you know, it's all that's talked about in the media. So I'll get off my soapbox. Thank you for listening to me. As I've worked with the city in the past, I know that a focus and mission of the city and council has been the improvements to local business districts, creating a favorable climate for businesses in Fort O, rebuilding community anchors, revitalizing neighborhoods, and simply improving the overall quality of life in Fort O. City council and administration and staff have done a great job over the past few years of accomplishing that mission, and we can obviously see the change just driving around Fort O. As I volunteered with LIFT in some capacity since its inception, I've seen its economic impact firsthand. I believe that a financial investment into Fort O of $4 to $5 million would promote a vigorous and growing economy, encourage the creation of new jobs and economic opportunities here locally, which of course in turn increase revenues for the city. In addition of a youth center would also add to the diversity of the businesses along Battlefield Parkway. And of course, improvements to properties, improve curb appeal, raises property values, gives students a place to go to receive things that will further increase their future employability, such as tutoring, hands-on learning from various different experts in their career fields that they have go and speak, and of course, fine arts programming that they have. So I truly believe that a vote for rezoning the property is a vote for the improving of the economic opportunities in Port Oglethorpe. So I would encourage the city to vote yes. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this zoning change? Yes, sir. Go up, state your name when you get to the podium.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council. My name's Ian O'Shea. I'm absolutely 100% in favor of the rezoning of this piece of property and have backed and been a fan of Tina Pinkston's for maybe longer than anybody else in the room. I've known her since she was in youth leadership, youth ministry at Ringgold Methodist. Also a worship leader in the contemporary service and was instrumental in making the contemporary service a thing at Ringgold Methodist. We didn't have one before then, and her skills that she brought musically and management-wise in building that program led to a lot of the youth getting involved, one of which was my youngest stepson. That we didn't even know he had the ability to play the piano, and walked into the sanctuary and we're looking for him, and we know he's not in there. There's only one person in there playing the piano, and it's pretty doggone good. It was like, where's Brandon? He's in the sanctuary. No, there's just somebody in there playing the piano. That's Brandon. The thing about Tina Pinkston is that her passion and skills for building up youth isn't just catching them in a net before they get in trouble when they're identified, as having issues, but she finds out what their natural gifts are and builds on those and makes them better. Brandon now holds a PhD in music. He teaches at the University of Georgia after getting his undergrad there. He got his master's and his PhD at Northwestern. I don't think he would have had the confidence to do a lot of what he's accomplished if it weren't for somebody like Tina pouring into him. And we're just lucky it was Tina. When our church had a split, Tina wasn't sure exactly what she was going to do. Should I stay or should I go? And if I go, what am I going to do? And we got invited to dinner at her house with her husband, Eric, who is one of the most skilled professionals, in the trades that I've ever seen. And we have lunch with some other mutual friends. And she said, I just can't figure out exactly what I'm going to do. But it's going to be something for kids. I just don't know what it is. And I'll never forget, I said, I don't care what it is. I'll be 100% behind you. And I have been totally thankful and blessed and nothing but a huge fan ever since, and I always will be. Please vote yes.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this zoning change? Yes, ma'am. If you would, state your name when you go to the podium.
My name is Kennedy Barano. Starting with, public speaking is not something that I'm very confident with. However, being able to stand here today, sorry.
You're doing fine.
You amongst friends, honey, just go ahead.
However, being able to stand here today, I cannot help express my gratitude. I cannot help but express my gratitude toward Lift Youth Center and the positive impact it has had on my life and countless others that I know. I still remember the day I walked in Lift Youth Center, feeling welcomed by everyone, including staff and students. At first, I may not have spoken much, but as soon as I did, I felt seen and heard. It was the kind of atmosphere where I could finally be myself and let loose. And I had never experienced that before. Thanks to the program, I went from being the quiet kid who sat alone at lunch to having so many genuine friends and supporters. Lift Youth Center has not only benefited my life, but also the community at large. The program has contributed to numerous service projects and educates its students on how to improve the world for future generations. What I love most about Lift is I can be myself, quirks and all, and when you spend the whole day trying to fit in, it can genuinely be draining. As soon as I walk in the lift, I feel like all the burdens of the day are lifted off of my shoulders. In conclusion, my story is a testament to the miracles that Lift Youth Center brings to the community and future generations. Thank you for your time.
Brava. Brava.
I'm Emily. I'm Kennedy's mom. She gets her public speaking from me, and her tears come from me.
Good job,
So
Mom.
we're both a mess. But just to piggyback a little bit on what she had to say, Kennedy started at Lyft 2 years ago, and she was scared of the world. She would hide. She was just fearful of everything. And I've watched her grow into this fierce young lady who, she may be terrified to stand up here, but she knows these people have her back. I'm not reading anything that I wrote because this is all now just from my heart. But I truly just, there aren't words that can express what the leadership and the mentors at Lyft do for these kids. Kennedy has a safe home to go home to. But why go home when you can hang out with them? She has so many opportunities to express herself and to make friends. They push her outside of her comfort zone in love, but still, she needs that push sometimes. They offer skills that aren't taught at school. The emotional intelligence, I've seen her just soar, and just things that no words can really express. So I wholeheartedly believe in what Lyft does every single day. You guys may not even ever realize the impact you truly, truly make, but it's changed her life. So thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Emily, could I get you to spell your last name for me?
Yes, it's Burano. It's B as in boy, Urruano.
I should have got that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of or in opposition of this zoning change? Yes, sir, if you go ahead. If you would state your full name for us.
Sure, my government name is Michael Andrew Johnson, but you can call me Andy. And I have the opportunity to serve as the County Director for Family and Children Services here in Catoosa County. And it doesn't matter what I say because you're not going to listen to me because you're going to be thinking about what my friend just said. And speaking of friends, I thought we were friends, Tina, until you had me follow. No, as the County Director of Family and Children Services, we have the opportunity to intervene in families' lives at times of crisis. And Lyft exists to help prevent families from ever being in crisis. They are a partner with us in Ringgold, and we would love for them to be a partner with us in Fort Oglethorpe. We work to assess children that there's been an allegation of abuse or neglect. With Lyft, we may never see some families and some children because of what they can do to intervene. I have personal experience with Lyft because I've been able to watch my neighbor from across the street who began with Lyft as a very introverted sixth grader. And after watching her be a part of their program, I see her now as an extrovert who will come out and talk to the adults in the neighborhood with confidence because of the program that she's been able to experience. And also want to talk to you from a position of a father. My daughter is the middle school drama teacher at Lakeview Middle. And we talk often. And we share stories. Because a lot of the kids that she works with, I've worked with, or my agency has worked with. Right now they're working on a play, and she talks about kids who don't get picked up at the 5 o'clock deadline. The parents don't get there. Or parents don't care to get there. And right now, they've got a place to be. But that play will be over March the 16th. Where might they go? They can't hang around school. They probably don't want to go home. But they certainly can go to Lift. So your support will allow intervention for kids like that.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of or in opposition of this zoning change? Mayor, doesn't appear anyone else is present.
One Thank moment, you, sir. Stoltz.
Hang on.
Yep.
Of course.
Hello, I'm Amy Faulkner, and I'm here just to say, first thing I knew about Lyft was driving through Ringgold and seeing this beautiful building. And I thought, wow, that's kind of neat. And then I met Tina, and we started talking, and she invited me to one of their luncheons. And that's when I saw what they really do for these kids. And I just thought, that's something that I really want to get involved in. Being from here and knowing that youth are the history of our city, and I think that Lyft, what I heard and what I'm excited about is hearing what they do for kids, and I think that that's what'll help our city in the long run. And so for me, it's a win-win. We'll get a beautiful building for our city, and it'll help our kids too. So I think it's a great thing.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of or in opposition of this ordinance zoning change?
Is your plan to renovate the existing structure?
Yes, sir. We'll do an addition off the backside, add extra classrooms, and then do some outdoor rec stuff where some of that landscape is now, where it's just trees.
Okay.
A lot of it will stay wooded, of course. And I've already got those plans if you want to see them.
Yeah, I'd like to see
Love
it.
to.
Yeah.
Love to.
What's the timetable, roughly?
Great question. We will find out in the next, I hope, couple of weeks about the rest of the big funding requests we put through, and then we'll do a capital campaign. So there's some of that will happen, but we would hope to start remodeling by the summer, and we would guess if things go smoothly, which of course hard to predict, but we would hope that we would have our first semester with students by the fall of 2025. If it goes quicker, maybe we start to do some stuff in the summer of 25, but it's a big remodel, so it's going to take a little time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Item number 4 on our public hearing tonight is a public hearing for ordinance number 2024-07. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2024-07, be it ordained by the mayor and council for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, a zoning amendment ordinance for tax parcel number 0003F0132712 Lafayette Road, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia 30742, requested by the applicant Jamie Mask, so as to amend the zoning of said property from a C1 zoning to a C2 zoning, to amend the official zoning map for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, to repeal conflicting ordinances and other related purposes. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of or in opposition of this zoning ordinance? Yes, go right up. And if you would state your name.
Hello, I'm Samantha Masick.
Samantha
Masick. And I am in favor of the zoning change due to, we recently purchased the building in September, and it will give our tenants a wider, I guess, more options to have in the business, in the building, since it doesn't have as many limitations, the zone.
So you don't have a specific, there's not something specific you're doing with this?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a medical office currently in there, so then it would also be in line with what the C2 is.
Okay. How many tenants?
There's
are in?
5 total.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of or in opposition of this zoning change? Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Item number 4 is a public hearing for ordinance number 2024-08. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2024-08 be ordained by the mayor and council for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, a zoning amendment ordinance for tax parcel number 003F007, 104 West Forest Road, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, 30742, requested by the owner, Joy Carpet and Company Incorporated, so as to amend the zoning of said property from an R3 zoning to an I2 zoning, to amend the official zoning map for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, to repeal conflicting ordinances and other related purposes. Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of or in opposition of this ordinance zoning change? Mayor, doesn't appear anyone's present.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. That does conclude our public hearing for tonight. This time we'll call our regularly scheduled council meeting to order. Mr. Stoltz, if you would please call the roll.
Mayor Earl Gray,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Jim Childs, Councilman Craig Crawford,
Here.
Council Lady Rhonda James,
Here.
Councilman Derek Rogers,
Here.
Council Lady Paula Stinney.
Here.
Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Let the record show we do have a quorum for tonight's meeting. This time we do our invocation and our pledge. Mr. Rogers, if you would please do the invocation. Mr. Crawford, lead us in the pledge, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for all you've done for us, Lord. Thank you for this city. Thank you for our citizens. Pray that you would give us your wisdom to do what's in the best interest of the citizens of Fort Oglethorpe. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time we'll set the agenda for tonight's meeting. Ms. Hume, do you have any additions or deletions?
No, Mr. Mayor, I do not.
Thank you, Ms. Hume. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. James, second by Mr. Rogers. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item is the minutes. If members of council have had an opportunity to review the minutes from our January 22nd meeting, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rogers, second by Mr. Crawford. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is ordinances. Item number 1 under ordinances is the first reading of ordinance number 2024-05. Mr. Stoltz.
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 2024-05, be it ordained by the mayor and council for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, a zoning amendment ordinance for tax parcel number 003F008, 11 Quartermaster Circle, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, 30742, requested by the owner, Joy Carpet and Company Incorporated, so as to amend the zoning of said property from an I2 zoning to a C1 zoning, to amend the official zoning map for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, to repeal conflicting ordinances and other related purposes. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Item number 2 is the first reading of ordinance number 2024-06. Mr. Stoltz.
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 2024-06, be it ordained by the mayor and council for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, a zoning amendment ordinance for tax parcel number 0003C010 1337 Battlefield Parkway, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia 30742, requested by the applicant Christina Pinkston for the Lift Youth Center Incorporated, so as to amend the zoning of said property from an R1 zoning to a C2 zoning, to amend the official zoning map for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, to repeal conflicting ordinances and other related purposes. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Item number 3 is the first reading of ordinance number 2024-07. Mr. Stoltz.
Yes, ordinance number 2024-07 be ordained by the mayor and council for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, a zoning amendment ordinance for tax parcel number 0003F013 2712 Lafayette Road, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia 30742, requested by the applicant Jamie Mass, so as to amend the zoning map for the said property from a C1 zoning to a C2 zoning, to amend the official zoning map for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, to repeal conflicting ordinances and other related purposes. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Item number 4, first reading of ordinance number 2024-08. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2024-08, be it ordained by the mayor and council for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, a zoning amendment ordinance for tax parcel number 003F007 104 West Forest Road, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia 30742, requested by the owner Joy Carpet and Company Incorporated, so as to amend the zoning of said property from an R3 zoning to an I2 zoning, to amend the official zoning map for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, to repeal conflicting ordinances and other related purposes. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item number 1, under new business, notification of emergency replacement of rooftop HVAC unit at Gilbert Stevenson Park. Ms. Hughes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Last week, the rooftop unit at the office and the restrooms in the middle of Gilbert Stevenson Park caught fire and burned several of the internal components. Nobody was hurt. Everything is fine on that front. But this unit was 23 years old, and so due to the age and the severe damage, the unit had to be replaced so that the building and the restrooms can have appropriate climate control. Air Heat was the vendor with the ability to install the necessary equipment in the most expedited time frame, and that amount is $7,064 coming out of the general fund.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. I have a motion to approve.
Motion, sir.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Stinnett, second by Mr. Crawford. Any discussion?
Which building was it?
It is the office building and the restrooms in the middle of the park, not the back pavilion restrooms.
Okay.
The one where our staff has their offices.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 2, recommendation to approve contract modification number 1 for the purchase of trash cans for Gilbert Stevenson Park. Ms. Hughes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Back in November, the council awarded the purchase of 20 refuse cans from the company Treetop Products in the amount of $7,621.25 to replace the existing cans at Gilbert Stevenson Park. Those cans were in desperate need of replacement, and we're doing a lot of work at the park, and so we wanted to renovate those as well. When the new cans that we ordered arrived, Recreation and Leisure Services, the department there, found that those cans absolutely were not going to be sturdy enough, and so we had to make a different decision. To avoid some costly restocking fees, the decision was made to purchase, with your approval, a different can from that same provider, which results in a $3,128.26 addition to that contract coming out of SPLOST.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. James, second by Mr. Rogers. Any discussion?
What are the sturdy cans gonna be like?
Tony, if you'll come up, please.
The sturdier cans are a steel can coated in rubber, where the other ones were more of a very hard plastic, and we were told they would be great, but when they came in, we saw that that wasn't gonna be the can that we needed, so.
Are they gonna be concreted in somehow?
They'll be bolted into a concrete pad.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 3, recommendation to renew an annual software agreement with iWork.
Thank you. Divisions of public utilities in our public works departments collectively use the iWork software modules to carry out day-to-day functions. The annual cost of these software modules is $12,148. The public utilities department uses that software to support its day-to-day operations on the water and sewer side, stormwater, permit management, and sewer management, as well as the public permitting facing function that our citizens and contractors use. The Public Works Department also uses that software to do the day-to-day work as well, work orders, things like that, and then sign and pavement management. We've had this software in place for several years now, and if approved, it would come out of 3 different funds. The general fund in the amount of $1,650 for the Public Works Department, out of the general fund for the Public Utilities Department in the amount of $7,644, and then out of the Water and Sewer Fund in the amount of $2,854 for a total amount of $12,148.
Thank you, Ms. Hune. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Crawford, second by Mr. Rogers. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 4, recommendation to award a blanket contract for advertising services for city events and activities. Ms. Hughes.
Thank you. Stable 41, winter skating, Labor Day at the Post, all these citywide events that we've started to do in the last couple of years benefit from a variety of different types of advertising depending on that particular event. If approved, we would use that $44,000 that was budgeted for the 2024 budget year to advertise using a variety of different platforms and different vendors such as UCTV, Odyssey, which is known as US 101, Cumulus Broadcasting, Flypaper, billboards, all kinds of different forms of advertising so that we can best capture the biggest number of people to come to these events. And I think we have learned a lot in the last year about our different types of events and what forms work well for some, because what works well for some events don't work well for other events, and we've benefited greatly from that learning process. If approved, these advertising costs, as we said, would not exceed $44,000 out of the general fund, and certain expenses will be reimbursed from the USDA Farmers Market grant that we received a couple years ago as well.
Thank you, Ms. Hune. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. James, second by Mr. Rogers. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, City Manager's Report. Ms. Hughes.
Thank you. Our manhole rehabilitation project will be getting underway in the next couple of weeks. You will see the company CTR Coatings and its subcontractors out in the community repairing some manholes throughout the next couple of months. Information regarding the rehab process and whether or not your particular property will be impacted will be posted on our website and probably on your door hangers as well from those companies. Just to give you guys some education about that entire process, this manhole rehabilitation process is designed to seal and coat our existing manholes which leak into our system and cause us to have higher fees from the city of Chattanooga to treat our water and wastewater that we don't really need. We're paying to treat clean rainwater. So we're going to drive those costs down as best we can using this project. We're excited about it. Other than that, happy Valentine's Day to my 4 little Valentines at home. Oh, I guess there are 5 technically. There are 5. The big Valentine and then the little baby Valentine. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. Next item on the agenda is Mayor and Council comments. I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. And young lady, you did an excellent job.
Yep.
When you got a passion for something, don't be afraid to get up and talk about it because you done an excellent job. Mr. Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, good job. Great speech, and thanks, Mayor. I feel like you following something like that. But I always say, and I'm a firm believer, we got the best community around. I'll put it up against any community out there. And it's because of people like you guys that I know several of you, I know of others, But Ms. Pinkston, you've done a great job surrounding yourself with great people that are passionate about this community, and I agree that it starts with the youth. If we can get the youth in the right, I mean, if you can build them, then our community. I'm a product of this community. Amy will tell you. She used to kick my tail around all the time, but yeah, it's thankful. We're thankful for what y'all are doing, and thank you so much, and thank you everybody out there. We appreciate it. It makes our job a lot easier. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, similar. You've surrounded yourself with a good group. You've got some very distinguished supporters here. And number one, Ian O'Shea. But a lot of people that have done amazing things in this city too. Gio, Amy, incredible passion for Fort Oglethorpe, and we're very appreciative of that. Gio's not even here anymore, and he still, helps us out with stuff here in the city, which I appreciate. And I appreciate you coming, Pastor, as well, because that's a really valuable piece of property. And I don't know what the price or anything like that it was, but it sounds to me like you kind of set that part aside a little bit to try to make sure that property went to productive use. So I appreciate you having that type of spirit, and your church having that type of spirit. So that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Ms. James?
Not always about the money, is it? But welcome everybody tonight, and there's some folks in here that I went to high school with, and that shows volumes of them still being involved in the community, and I appreciate them being here tonight. And everybody be safe going home, because the weather looks rough out there.
Thank you, Ms. James. Ms. Stinnett?
Ms. Pinkston, congratulations on an eclectic group gathered in harmony, singing your song with a passion. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you, and I'm sure that this Valentine's is going to be very sweet. Pastor, we not only celebrate Valentine's, but we also begin Lent Wednesday, do we not? So may the love of Jesus be shined upon you all. Good night.
Can I also say happy Valentine's to my wife and daughter?
Yeah, don't get in trouble, Derek. Don't get in trouble.
Next item on the agenda is executive session. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss real estate, litigation, and personnel.
Make a motion.
Second, sir.
Motion by Mr. Crawford, second by Ms. Stinnett. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This council is in executive session. Have a motion to come out of executive session.
Make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This council is out of executive session. In executive session, we discussed real estate, litigation, and personnel. Final item on the agenda tonight is adjournment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Crawford, second by Mr. Rogers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.